Oh, we just missed the rain. The rain started as we were post-parading, but then stopped for a bit and really didn't start up again until the race was over. How's your drink? That's the stuff. No lavender today. Paradise drink. I forgot how good they were. Apparently I'm allergic to them. A much better day today. I did a long video this morning. It was so cool. I want to talk about a small world. A buddy of mine from, I haven't talked to him in a long time, a year or so or more, Neil McGuinness, messaged me yesterday and he said, you know, him and of all people, Dr. Llewellyn, another person, I see him at the Harrisburg Lexington sale every year or so, but I haven't really talked to him and I enjoyed talking with him. Every time I got a chance to. He's just one of those people that are funny, always has jokes to tell, but super knowledgeable. I know a lot of vets are like that. Mike's a lot like that too. And he said, of all things, he said, you know, Doc come down last night and we're having dinner. And he said he wanted to show me a horse that was racing in the Kentucky Derby he'd done work on or whatnot. Now, if you guys remember, this all transpired from the conversation I had from Mike yesterday, and he called it the Llewellyn procedure that they were doing on Lonely Lakewood. And I proceeded to say to Mike, have you ever met Dr. Llewellyn? I know Dr. Llewellyn very well. Great guy. And long time I've known Hugh Llewellyn. Anyway, great guy, and he said they were sitting there watching TV, and he said, you know, I got watching your videos, and so they're on my YouTube feed, and you know, Dr. Llewellyn knows me, and he said, I'm scrolling through looking for the Kentucky Derby, and he goes, well, what's he talking about? What's he going on about? They watched the video where I talk about Dr. Llewellyn, and about you know, the procedure. How Mike said, turn that down, you. Mike said what the procedure was, and it's literally named, you know, the Llewellyn procedure. You know, he pioneered the entire technique. So, very knowledgeable guy that's flown all over the world and done work on horses, airways, and throats. And it was just so random and so weird that Neil had messaged me after I was done the video this morning. Actually, messaged me to say it was so weird. We're sitting there watching the video. We turned your video on, and we're watching you talk to another veterinarian about the Llewellyn procedure. And he said, I'm sitting with you. Well, so two great guys. You know, the older I get, you know, I always remember hearing your dad talk about the good old days or history, and in such a nostalgic way. But I don't think it has to be first person, right? It really doesn't absorb the same way when it's somebody else's history, right? Somebody else's past, no matter how well they tell the story. And I was listening to a comedian the other day, and he was talking about you don't realize you're old until it just hits you all at once, right? You're talking to talking to a bunch of drivers at the Meadows and realize that you're one of the oldest guys, right? I always still see myself as a kid, as this 25-year-old kid, and I'm not. I'm 47, and it's so weird. Anyway, it was great to hear from Neil, and it was great to. It's pretty cool that Hugh had watched the video, and a big shout out to both of them. Neil's a school teacher that races horses, and really smart guy, and Hugh obviously speaks for himself, a pioneer in veterinarian medicine. Now, aside from those two jokers, what went on today? I did a very long video. I'm not posting it till I get home because it's like 35 minutes or 30 minutes long, talking about the whole day. We had a great day training the babies today. A number of scratches, as you can imagine, with the weather. I'll just tell you how weird the weather is. When I got to the barn today, now I'll give it to you in Celsius because my phone is in Celsius. So when I got to the barn, it said feels like minus 10 Celsius. It's got to be what, 25 Fahrenheit, I'm guessing. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Somewhere around there. It's cold. It's cold enough that after first trip, Amy pulls up and you tell she's uncomfortable. I said, you all right? She goes, my hands are frozen, and it hurts. For those of you that have been on horses and your hands freeze, it hurts. And mine froze too, first set. Fast forward to racing at the Meadows, I just raced in a summer suit. That's how weird the weather is right now. And it affects the horses, most of them in a negative way, right? The track is hard, the air is cold, and you have that fluctuation of temperature. I do believe you turned that up, you turkey. Turn it down a little bit. Just a whittle bit. What about your drink? When do you give me out of your, what's your drink out of a 10? 1 to 10. Is it a 6? Is it a 7? Is it an 8? Do you really like it? Tell everybody. Take a drink of it and tell everybody what you think of your drink. Give me what you think. It's an 8? It's pretty good, isn't it? I like it. So it's raining now. We missed the rain. The horses were great this morning. Yep, I can put that in my cup holder. Yep, you're right. No problem. Now, the day was a little bit screwed up because, as I said, you'll find out later on when you watch my longer video, Amy and Oliver went to Ontario. Oliver has baseball practice. You know, as this transition takes place for us somewhat, we're trying our best to make sure that it doesn't affect the kids, right? And if it does, in a very positive way. Now, Oliver played baseball in Ohio and Ontario last year, and that was okay for a year. But at some point, there was going to have to be commitments made. He was on the rep team in Ontario, and I don't know. I assume it's a rep team of some sort here in Ohio. But there's a lot more teams. There's a lot more towns. Oliver was on the I don't want to. Well, obviously a little biased. I believe it was the best 10-year-old, 9 and 10-year-old team in Ontario. And, although I'm not one of those guys that has aspirations of my son playing in the MLB, right? And playing for the Blue Jays. And no, I just want the kid to have fun. And he knows all the people on the team. Now, we were fair to everybody in Ontario. We told the coaching staff that Oliver would be spending most of his spring in Ohio. He'd be back and forth. We could commit to like half the practices, but he would still be doing work. You guys have seen some of my videos where Oliver was at strength training or baseball practice over here working on his hitting or his fielding. Well, they kept him. They kept him on, knowing all this. They kept him on the rep team, and he made the commitment there. I left it up to Oliver and said, would you rather play again here full-time in Ohio with less of a commitment in Ontario or the other way around? And he flip-flopped. He was very analytical for a little kid. He was very analytical about it. I was really proud of him. And he said, the team in Ontario is really good. I've known those guys all for a long time. And now, of course, his decision was not based on the 4.5-hour drive back home every second Friday and the fact that Amy and I would be separated for a good portion of the summer because of Oliver's budding baseball career. But that's life. It's not the end of the world, and I love watching him play, and whether it was Ohio or Ontario, I was going to support him, and Amy was the same way. So Amy and Oliver went back to Ontario. I was going to go back to Ontario today. Addie, you're going to have to turn that down, please. I was going to go back to Ontario today, but I wanted to sit behind Greatest Ending. I wanted to know, it's one thing to go fast, free-legged, say, yeah, he's a nice horse, really talented horse. He doesn't even need the hobbles. It's a whole other thing to race free-legged. Patrick DePirana, anybody could drive him. In the 11,000 class, Addie could have drove him. That's not to take anything away from anybody that's ever driven him and compete with him. I've done it plenty. But he was supposed to be the best in that class. And then, of course, Saturday night Stay Special. You guys know what took place with Stay Special. Fell down in her last start. Got tangled up and fell down and the pace slowed. But really, call a spade a spade. She shouldn't have fell down. I want to know what went on. We've since galloped her a little bit. Her legs look good. She's sound for her. And I actually buzzed her a quarter of a mile today to make sure that I didn't end up at the bottom end of a spell down on Saturday. But I couldn't ask somebody to go and drive her. One, they'd have to be worried, right? And two, I don't want to send horses out that have something wrong with them. And it's not that Stay Special has anything wrong with them, but maybe she did crossfire. Maybe it was that she just took a bad step. I don't know what it was. maybe it was just a slowing pace, but it slowed for everybody. I didn't see any issues with her. But again, these are things that I want to... I'm not going to ask somebody to do something that I wouldn't do myself. And that's the way I think it should be, right? So, Amy and I talked about it. She said, I'll go back. So, of course, a blizzard also in Ontario. You want to talk about crazy weather. It's a blizzard in Ontario right now on the corridor back home. And I just raced in a summer suit in the Meadows. It's insane. Anyway, it plays a negative role on the horses. We had a number of horses scratch sick this morning from training. Not a big deal. I'm not worried about it. Our horses have been doing great. The 3-year-olds were great this week. Many of them will be qualifying. Very, very happy with the entire roster. Now, I did come over today. I took 11 minutes to talk about 2 horses. 2 horses. I come over here today with... I wanted to have tempered expectations. I didn't really know what to expect with Greatest Ending. I told everybody we're going to race him conservative. What does that mean? He hasn't gone 2 fast miles since January the 7th. Not 2. 1. He only went 1. He went and trained 1.5 miles. And I tell you what, testament 1 to the horse and 2 to the work that Jason and Lauren and Sarah, when she was there, put into the horse. A great job by Jason, because this is not an easy horse to take care of. And when push came to shove, he was the one that wanted to make sure he went out the door with the horse to make sure everything was all right. So great job by him. It's got to suck a little bit. I know when the horses leave Northfield and go other places. Like Jason McGinnis is training down Tactical Mounds. She's going to go to Megan to race, right? Greatest Ending was at Tim's to race. Pickpocket goes to Eric in Kentucky. So I get it, and Jason plays a very integral part of all of that, and he's done a great job with Greatest Ending. The horse was exceptionally good. I use that word a lot this week, and I'm unapologetic for it, because it did apply in almost every case I used it. How can you expect the horse to have 1 fast mile since January 7th? Take the hobbles off. He tried to qualify once in his life in Florida at a training center, free-legged, and he made a break. Took the hobbles off him. Been off 9 weeks. Got away 6th. 3 wide around the last turn. And obviously, I didn't want to put him on the run down the lane. I could have chased him and chased him, chased him. I might have even got there had I started him up early in the turn, because he was pacing the turn great. Had I started him up early in the turn and chased him down the lane, is he a winner? Probably, yes. But as I said to Tim, if we can race him for a month, 6, 8 weeks like that, that's going to be a scary animal. That's a fast freak of nature right there. Off 9 weeks, circling the field, closing in on them, 27 seconds flat.
Golf.
Yeah, you went to that place. That's Top Golf.
Yeah, we'll go there when it's not raining.
That's right. We will go there this summer, I promise. Good job. So, just a huge mind. But the thing that blows your mind about Greatest Ending is he does it effortlessly. You know, I'm sure many of you are out there and you played a sport with a kid that was just a freak, right? Just didn't put in any effort, went to half the practices and just showed everybody up all the time. That's Greatest Ending. Now he's a 5-year-old. 5 or 6? He's 5. It was incredible today, and it can only get better from there. If we can keep his liver under control, which we've been able to do, if we can keep his feet under control, which I know Mickey is going to take great care of his feet. His stress level with no hobbles on is low. Took him off Lasix because I believe if we can keep his feet good and keep his stress down, he won't bleed. If he won't bleed, he doesn't have to be on Lasix. If he is on Lasix, he has to go somewhere else 4 hours before the race and stand and wait. All these little pieces could make a pretty impressive puzzle down the road. But there is no doubting. There's no denying that this horse is an impressive animal. I just hope we can have him on a conservative, consistent routine, and he's in the right spot right now. So great job by Tim and his crew. Great job by Jason for sure and his crew getting him here. The horse was great today. Patrick DePirana, I told you guys, anytime he's on the track and he's quiet and he doesn't throw his head, he's not generally good. He's at his best when he's obnoxious in the post parade. He wasn't today. When on the track, I got on the track and I'm like, oh, man, he's not throwing his head. I jog him around once, I go to jog him around again, and he's not throwing his head, and I'm chirping to him. He's not. I hit him a swat in the arse with the whip, and he just came to life. And then obnoxious Patrick showed up immediately like that. I turned to go to the gate. He's rooting his head. I knew. I just wanted to keep an eye on him. I wanted to follow either Ridge or Dave or both, but I didn't want to be on the front. So I just float out. I keep everybody at bay, and I'm keeping an eye to my right. I can see that Dave's going out of there with his whip up. He's tapping on the tail. That's our guy. I let him cross over. I follow him. Around the last turn, I'm pretty sure I'm going to jog. I just moved Patrick over and tapped him on the tail, and good night, Irene. He was all business. He is such a classy horse. He was awesome today. Very, very good today. If you give him any sort of a trip in with those types of horses, he's supposed to win, but it doesn't matter. You still have to go out and win. This is horse racing. There's no walkovers. There's no, there is soon. There's no gimmies. And Patrick raced, both of them raced great, effortless miles today, and a very, very impressive day of racing for the stable today. We've had a pretty good run this week. The sophomores have been exciting. Now they do have to go faster. It's easy for me to come on here and say, oh, you know, insider trading 2-2, she was great. All right, how'd she get to 54? Right? Addie, turn that down just a little bit more. How'd she get to 54? What about 53? That's 8 or 9 seconds. But again, it's all a process, right? When I look at everything we've done and what it's culminating as and how the horses look, it looks like an impressive group of horses. I got a message from Dr. Brown. Both the procedures with Pickpocket to fix the entrapment and Lonely Lakewood, the Llewellyn procedure, went perfectly today. He said both the horses will be back in full work 7 to 10 days. There's no rush. They were both ready to rock. Now, Lonely Lakewood I did want to have ready, but not the end of the world. Finish your pair, you little butt. Your kids do that? They'll eat like half a pair and just leave it out for you? Like a cat that kills a bird and leaves it at the doorstep? And then eat another half a pair? And then another half a pair? We're supposed to be going to supper. We're going to supper too. Doesn't matter, I suppose. Anyway, the screw up today was Amy and Ollie went to Ontario. Addie was sick. No babysitter. Ava was writing a science test and couldn't write it until 2 o'clock, so I couldn't pick her up early because I had to go warm up greatest ending. So Addie had to stay with me today. I booked off race 2. She stayed with me. We finished training all the babies, came over here, and now we're on our way back home. So, Addie, turn that down again. Addie. Thank you. No, you did it again. You turned it up again. I heard you do it. You're being sneaky. So that is today in a nutshell. 18 minutes. I got to stretch 2 results into 18 minutes. The qualifiers were great today. The schoolers were great today. The babies that trained were great today. We had a few horses get right down into 225 range. In fact, 1 or 2 beat 225. I think as of today, the fastest horse we have is Cadeau. Now, we have a number of horses that can go that speed and a lot more. But just the way that everything worked out today, Amy piloted him perfectly today, and he was very, very good. Really happy with the way everything's going today. It is an uplifting week, and hopefully we can keep it going. It's March 21st, not too far away from the stakes starting up. 1 for the sophomores and 2 for the rookies. So with that, I'll let you guys go. Have a great rest of your Friday evening, a wonderful weekend. I will talk to you all very soon. Take care. Hey, you want to say bye-bye to everybody?
Bye-bye. Bye-bye, Barry.
Bye-bye.